my travel in and life in Orkney all has something to do with my knitting. So, you know, if you came here and thought, oh, what's this all about? This isn't to do with knitting, then I'm sorry to tell you, it is. It's got a lot to do with my knitting and my process and my thought and my imagination and design matters. Living in Orkney has opened my mind and my eyes to the many possibilities. So I bet you're wondering what gardening has to do with knitting. Yeah, I've been showing you a couple of videos in the last couple of weeks all about what's happening in my garden. Well, my garden is my inspiration. It's my inspiration for colour. It's my inspiration for possible projects in the future, i.e. the wildflower garden. I would love to experiment with the beautiful flowers that come up and then see if I can dye my fleece using the colours from the flowers. Now, there are many wildflowers that you can use in dyeing and dyeing fabrics and fleece. So that's one of the little projects I want to experiment with, because we all grow things in our gardens, but do we actually know what they do? I have a lovely little app which I'll show up on the screen that tells me what these flowers are, what their life expectancy is, their toxicity, their use in herbal medicines, their mentions in poetry, many things. And so therefore this kind of thing fascinates me. So my garden is connected to my knitting, apart from the fact I wear my knitwear when I'm gardening. Another thing about a garden is it's a peaceful place, a place to sit and knit. The opportunities for sitting and knitting in the Orkney Islands is patchy because of the weather. Sometimes it's even very windy in the summer. But the last few days have been really nice, so it's given us an opportunity to do a lot more in the garden, which we've taken advantage of, obviously. I missed a stitch. There you go, I'm back in the pattern. So I've done a separate podcast for all my garden and life in Orkney podcasts. If it's specifically about knitting and it involves a bit of life in Orkney, like slow knitting the Pentland Firth, the notorious Pentland Firth, well then that's a different thing, because it is talking about what, generally doing some knitting, or what it was like to do some knitting across the Pentland Firth. The Pentland Firth is notorious for a reason. I think it's where two seas meet. You've got the North Sea on one side and you've got the Atlantic on the other side. So there's going to be plenty of friction when they meet. And they meet in the Pentland Firth. So yeah, knitting on the Pentland Firth, well, that was a different little thing. But mainly, most of my little videos about the garden or trips that I want to do in the Northern Isles will be featured here on this garden podcast. Yeah, so I want to go to the island of Sandy to do some filming there and film the new summer tea on the beautiful beaches there in the island of Sandy, which I know you're going to love, and some special little bits of information about it and connections, etc., historical connections. But my big secret project, still a secret project, will be, I hope I will be able to film that in June, July time, because I want to go to the Isle of Westray, and that has some really interesting historical connections. And my secret project will fit in very nicely with that, and as I said, it has a story to tell. It's actually, one of the pieces is actually an adaptation from the new summer tea into a kind of chemise. So it's a little clue, just a wee clue, not a big one, but a wee one. And it involves a lot of local knitting yarns and one or two special ones. So yeah, that'll be coming up later in the year, because it'll involve me doing a bit of sewing as well. I promised a summer skirt last year. Well, instead of doing a summer skirt, I'm doing a maxi skirt, but with a difference. So yeah, my gardening projects, my travel in and life in Orkney all has something to do with my knitting. So, you know, if you came here and thought, oh, what's this all about? This isn't to do with knitting, then I'm sorry to tell you, it is. It's got a lot to do with my knitting and my process and my thought and my imagination and design matters. Living in Orkney has opened my mind and my eyes to the many possibilities. It's a beautiful place and has been home to many different people and historical people. History is very interesting to me. I enjoy historical novels and historical essays on different characters. I'm very inspired by the Tudor period. The dress and costume of the time inspired me, was always of interest to me. Particularly black work. I love Elizabethan black work. And the Jacobean style embroidery. I love all of that. And if I could involve that in my knitwear, I would. It's something that I want to think about. There are so many things to inspire. The only problem is there's not enough time. I found it quite difficult in the past few weeks to do a lot of filming my knitwear, etc., because I haven't really finished anything, you know what I mean. Not that I can talk about. I've finished things that I've done for other people, but I can't, they're things I can't talk about. But and I've been away for a few days, as you know from my one of my videos, and now we're doing a little bit in the garden and been working on my pattern. Put that to one side. So lovely to have a little chat with you. It's been a while, hasn't it? And I hope you enjoy my little garden videos. So instead of just saying keep knitting and keep gardening. And I'll see you soon. Bye now.